We're great. We're absolutely great. I see the smiles on your faces. West Ham have been firmly put in the mud today after all the smack they've been talking in midweek coming into this game. Ange's first win in a London derby, whether it be West Ham, Chelsea or Arsenal. What was your reaction to that game today?
Well, I actually predicted a draw. I was really nervous for this game because we all know it's West Ham's cup final and they do tend to sort of lift their game when they play us. And I thought, you know, a few of their players are going to have a worldie. So when we went 1-0 down, I was a bit, oh no, here we go. But, you know, Ange got it wrong against Brighton. I think everyone could see he got it wrong against Brighton and he got it spot on today. He made a change. And it changed the whole of the second half, in my opinion. It was a genius move. When he brought Sarr on for Maddison, I was a bit scratching my head and said, why isn't he bringing on someone like Bergvall, who's got that creativity? But what do I know? Because it completely changed the game. And, yeah, we've easily put West Ham to bed. And obviously the Ange doubters and even Ange outers will say, yes, but West Ham are rubbish. But we can't keep moving these goalposts. At the end of the day, we beat Manchester United, kept a clean sheet. We've beat West Ham today. We've got to take some pride in that. We've got to take some encouragement from that and say that maybe we might be turning that corner, possibly, hopefully. Because, you know, I don't think we've particularly played all that bad all season, apart from the Coventry game, which was a shocker. I just think there's been individual lapses of concentration, individual errors. I think it's starting to gel. I'm scared to say it. I don't want to bock anything, but I do think it's starting to gel a little bit, which is good to see.
Come on, Kate. You say it with some confidence. It's starting to gel. Come on.
It's starting to click. Top goal scorers in the league. Come on.
But Kate, I want to take it back to that substitution because I think we were scratching our heads a little bit here in the studio as well because we thought maybe Basuma was going to come off when we saw Sarr warming up there on the sidelines. Why do you think he did make that change?
He obviously could see that Maddison wasn't doing what he wanted him to do. I mean, I don't think Maddison had a dreadful first half. I don't think he was particularly good, but I don't think it was particularly bad. But I think Ange had in his mind how he saw that midfield playing and Maddison obviously wasn't delivering and he's on his vision and he decided to make that change and it proved to be the absolute right call. Like you say, probably me, you and a million other Spurs fans were sort of questioning straight away why he did it, but he did it and it was correct. So that's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
100%. That is why he gets paid the big bucks. And, you know, for me, Kate, it's something that I've been gagging to see. Ange make a tactical change in game that affects the game and we get over the line. And he's literally ticked all the boxes for me today with that win. Because he made the change at halftime. And that second half performance, those 20 minutes, we just put the game to bed. It was done. By the 70th minute, the game was done and dusted. So I think he's proving all the doubters wrong. And I really hope it's going to continue for a long time. With regards to some of the other players that we haven't spoken about, I'd love to get your thoughts on Big Dom Solanki, because he played an integral role today, but didn't get any goals or assists.
See the way her face lit up there when you mentioned Dom Solanki.
You know what? I was doubtful about Imbrick coming in as well, but I just think he's been such a game changer for us. He presses, he links the ball up. He's just such a good player. He was unlucky today. A couple of times crosses were put in or there was rebounds off the post and just people weren't in the right place. I mean, at full time, Jim said to me, I'm so gutted. And I was like, why? And he said, because it should have been 6 or 7. And it should have easily been 6 or 7, to be fair. You know, it was just a case of bad luck. But, I you know, he didn't miss any sort of sitters or do anything that makes me worry. I think he's going to prove to be invaluable to us this season, without any shadow of a doubt. So it hasn't tainted how I feel about him. I thought he would score today, but at the end of the day, he didn't. But like you say, he's so important. When we signed him, I said, oh, is he really that much better than Richarlison? But wow, he's so much better. He's levels above this guy, you know, and yeah, it's good to see him. He looks like he's enjoying his game as well, which is always nice to see. And what I will say is when for the end of the first half, if you look, some of the West Ham players look absolutely knackered. And I think that's a reflection of Ange's system, just how fit you have to be, because they're obviously having to keep up with us. And Antonio looked absolutely on his knees come half time. So it just shows that the level of fitness required to play his system is very, very high. But when it works, it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio obviously had a very taxing international break coming back from Jamaica quite late on, so maybe that had something to do with it, and he did end up getting taken off quite early on, I think, Antonio. And he always has a good game against us, Antonio, but he was nowhere to be seen for the majority, even when they were on top a little bit in the first half today. But look, we need to wax it. I need to hear your takes on Dejan Kulusevski today, because I just love this man so much, and I think he's just getting better and better and better.
Do you know what? I was always known in the community as the Kulu hater, because I was the one who always criticised Kulu because I hated him on the wing. But I said not that long ago that there's a place in this team for Kulu. We just haven't found it yet. But wow, what a player he is in the middle. He just looks a different gravy. And he looks so happy, so confident in the middle. He is just phenomenal. I can't believe it's the same player that we saw on the wing, who was so predictable. You know, everyone was saying he was a one-trick pony. Like I say, I was one of his biggest critics, and he's just turned it around. And for me, he's been our most consistent player this season so far, and our most outstanding player this season so far. I can't talk about this guy enough and say how much he's impressed me. And I'm quite happy to take a mud bath for Kulusevski and say that I was well wrong, because he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I was also one of the ones that was heavily critical of Kulusevski, but I always said as well that he needs to be moved into the middle of the park where we can get his best attributes out. He was just wasted out on the right-hand side last season, particularly. But you're talking about a lot of Tottenham fans questioned the leadership in this team, and a guy to really take that game by the scruff of the neck, and he really did that today, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Do you know what? I was really impressed. Even, you know, like when the whole Van de Ven and Kudos thing broke out, I was really impressed with just like the likes of Johnson, who when he first started at Spurs, everyone was like, he looks like a rabbit in the headlights. He went straight over to them. Then he went straight over again when Kudos was having a pop at Sarr, trying to split it up. And I just think these players, they're starting to really look like a team that have got each other's backs. And I think hopefully with that, the leadership will follow. We've got to remember, a lot of these guys are still really young. I mean, some of them are literally like my son's age, a little bit older, which makes me feel really old. But you know what I mean? They're kids to me. I always say I really want Brenan Johnson to do well, because he's a child to me. You know, he's half my age. So the leadership comes as they develop and mature. And I think Brenan Johnson's a prime example of a player that we've all kind of watched him mature in front of our eyes. And with every game, I think he's growing stronger. I think he's growing more confident in his game. And I just think it's so good to see. And I think the same with Kulu. Now he's in the position that he wants to play in the middle. I think you're seeing his confidence grow and his leadership grow as well. And yeah, I'm so proud of the boys today. I thought they were brilliant, particularly in the second half. They were excellent.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham just couldn't get a kick in that second half. And, you know, people always throwing shade at Sonny. He's washed. He's 32. He can't do it no more. Heavily involved in 3 goals, led by example. It's so good to have him back, isn't it?
Yeah, look, football is a humbler, as they say. You know, everyone writes off Sonny year in, year out, and every year he proves the doubters wrong. It's not just the fact that he scores and assists. His whole presence on that pitch brings something different for me. He lifts the team. He lifts the crowd. He just brings je ne sais quoi. Let's call it that, because I don't know what it is.
You're making him sound like David Ginola there, Kate.
Oh, don't get me started on Ginola, please. But you know what I mean? He is our captain, fantastic. And some people say he's not a leader. He's not someone who's going to grab them by the scruff of their neck. But he brings something to that pitch when he's there, and he leads in his own way. And I thought he was brilliant today. So pleased to see him back and to score as well. You know, that $1 million smile. It was just perfect.
I think the kids call that aura these days.
Yeah.
He's got that aura.
Yeah, maybe.
Definitely.
He's got that aura, yeah. Or he's clutch. I think clutch is another thing.
Well, he's very clutch. He's the definition of clutch.
He is the definition of
clutch. To come back from injury and influence a game the way he did today, captain magnificent. Just stay fit, Sonny. That's what we need. That's all we need for the rest of the season. Just stay fit.
And Kate, after the Brighton game, obviously a lot of people were down in the dumps, pissed off with the team, with that performance in the second half. Kind of spins the narrative a little bit. 6 wins in our last 7 games. It's really time to kick on now, isn't it?
Yeah, I get it. I was really questioning Ange after Brighton. I'm not going to lie. I found the fact that he didn't make the changes very questionable. I thought his comments after the match were very strange. And I did start having doubts myself, which I think is perfectly natural. You go by what you see. But the only way to change people's minds and to put people's minds at rest is to have consistency. And it's something that Spurs don't have in the league, and we need to have a sort of a 10-game winning run. Would be lovely, like last year. We need that spell of consistency for people to go, do you know what? I can see what Ange is doing. I can see that his philosophy does work, and everyone to get behind the team. I mean, I think it's way too early for people to be going Ange out anyway, because where on earth do we go from there? And I think when we watch today and I can see what he's trying to do. I can see what he's trying to do, which is got to be refreshing, because you look at Ten Hag and I can't see what he's trying to do with Manchester United, for example. But it's just getting that consistency right. But I've got faith that he can get those wins in the bag. It's just, I think the key is these players have got to be switched on from minute 1 to the end of the game, whenever that be. And because any lapse in concentration because of that high line, it can lose us a match just like that. Or make us lose points just like that. So I think a lot of it, although Ange will be the one that gets it, I think a lot of it has to fall on the players, their level of concentration. And yeah, I think, please God, I think we can get there.
Come on, Kate. Loving it.
Come on.
I want to say thank you so much for coming on today, Kate. Thank you as well for your constant shows on the Pump Up as well.
No worries.
So big up to you, Kate. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Have a good week. Rest of your
You too.
weekend.